1, 2, 3, 4, 1. All right, just a little bit of If I Lose, a great song by the Stanley Brothers. If I lose $100 while I'm trying to make a dime, my baby, she's got money all the time. All right, so now, is there a formula for a bluegrass guitar break? Is there a formula for a bluegrass guitar break? And I'm going to go on record as saying, no, there's not a formula. Meaning, anything you play that sounds good is in. You know, your break, you know, that's your chance to play whatever you want to play. But now it's hard to come up with breaks sometimes, right? Because if you were going to play 16 measures of eighth notes, that ends up being 128 notes. Well, how are you going to think of 128 thoughtful notes, right? Got the kids upstairs right now, running on the floor. You know, you start just putting notes together like we see. That's a lot of notes to think about. And so let's give an easier way. So the way I teach this is off of phrases and off the lyrics. Of all the other girls I know, there's none to take your place. That's phrase 1. When I get into a jam, they just ain't in the race. That's phrase 2. So come on back here, darling, let's make it another round. That's phrase 3. With you here by my side, my deal just can't go down. That's phrase 4. So now I find a melody. So something that approximates the melody. I always say don't be perfect, to be close. And then the way I teach this is through call and response, okay? So the next step, we could either do double stops or we could do call and response. Call and response is like fills. Do 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 da 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 da. Little fill right there. Some kind of little fill. And then I have another level I teach. I teach double stops. If you put the melody in double stops, it sounds good right off the bat. So now I've got something that's a little bit interesting, is doable for a lot of people, and you could come up with every break's different because every song's different, basically, but the licks might be the same, the fills might be the same. I have a course I teach, Level Up Bluegrass Guitar, and I go through each level: melody, double stops, fills, and then this last thing, leaving the melody behind. We pick a spot to leave the melody behind. Maybe it would be on the D chord. Some kind of thing that's not the melody. That's a scale, that's a lick, that's something else, has nothing to do with the melody. What's it have to do with then? Because if I leave the structure of the melody, I gotta have another structure, the chord. I play a lick over the chord. That's how I do this. I play a lick over the chord. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. So when I got to the D chord, I played nothing that resembled the song If I Lose. I did this lick. And then right back into the G chord. Something like that, okay? And then following that system gets a lot of interesting breaks. Now, it's not the only thing. You could play a bluegrass guitar break any way you want, but a lot of people benefit from some structure. So If you think you'd benefit from some structure, check out the website andyslessons.com. Check out that course. There's 5 songs in that course. So let me do a whole break, and that way you can slow this video down and copy a whole one right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Okay, so pretty good bluegrass guitar break. There's some kind of lick in there that you can take from that. All right, let's talk about one more thing. Humidify these guitars. I've got my humidistat. I keep an eye on my humidity all winter long. I went over to a friend's house, and he had one of these in every room, and I pointed it out, and I said, you know, to my wife, I said, see, he's got these too. Because we got to keep an eye on the humidity in the winter, because these guitars will dry out. First thing you'll notice, the fretboard shrinks, and you'll start to feel the edges of the wires there. Second thing that happens is worse. The end block is right here in the guitar. It's about that wide, and you'll get a crack running right from here to here. And you can ask me sometime how I know that. You can find all kinds of good advice online about how to make a humidifier, which humidifiers to buy. I have a whole house humidifier on my furnace, and so I'm pretty okay with leaving instruments on walls and stuff. But if I didn't have that, I'd have them in cases with an in-case humidifier, or I'd run a humidifier in the room, something like that. So keep an eye on your humidity, figure out what's right for your guitar and where you live, and that's good advice. So one more time, I'll play a little If I Lose for the road. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1.